In today's episode, we are going to be doing 7 summer crafts using Dollar Tree supplies. 4 of them are brand new and 3 are a blast from the past. All relevant, super fun to make for this summer season, using Dollar Tree supplies and staying on a crafter's budget. Now come along and let's make something beautiful for our homes. The Dollar Tree has so many fun supplies to work with to create high-end home decor for your spaces. I found this faux wood frame, this pendant that's on a string, and then I'm going to be using some of this scrapbook paper. Take apart the frame, leaving behind the frame itself and the backer. Take out the glass insert and the paper insert, and we're going to line up that backer onto a piece of scrapbook paper to cut it down and get the right size. You could trace it with a pencil or a pen. This is just how I'm doing it. Cut it down to size, and then using some hot glue. I would recommend hot glue versus just adhesive. Adhesive is so expensive and hot glue is way cheaper, and it works and does a beautiful job. Line those up with some glue, whatever your adhesive choice is, and then glue them together. Simply at this point, take that backer, pop it back into the frame, and lock it all down into place. These projects are my favorite to make in my craft room because these frames look so beautiful on a shelf or a wall, and they are so affordable to make your home look really special for any season or holiday. Now, I really wanted to elevate the pendant because it's so beautiful, but I decided it needed a little bit more height. I'm going to be using these tumbling blocks, and I'm using my miter shears to cut one in half. Friends, I have talked about this tool many times here on my channel. It does cool things, but the thicker the wood, the harder it is to cut through. Some of you have been talking about a little mini saw tool that people use in their craft rooms. I still haven't looked into that. Leave a comment down below if you've used a little mini saw. I know a lot of people talk about it from time to time here in my comment section, and I'm very intrigued with it. If you have a link to one that you have bought and you like it, can you share it down below? I would love to look into it. Because again, the miter shear does the job. It's just if you have arthritis in your hands at all, I don't have arthritis. I just try to be really cautious with the use of my hands because I know you can cause arthritis when you are too rough on your hand muscles. But I cut one in half, and keep in mind, use whatever you want. You can also use foam to like pop this up too. I just wanted to go with this wood so that it was nice and sturdy and strong. I glued them down. Once it's glued down, I added it to the frame, and friends, what an elevated decor piece for just a couple of dollars. I love this project. I hope you will give it a try. I found this candle stand and this candle jar. They are the same color. How did that happen at the Dollar Tree? It's kind of rare to find 2 separate decor pieces that are like the same color. And it had a beautiful sea glass look to it. I cut off that twine string or raffia bow. We'll call it a raffia bow because that's what it is. I cut that off. And I'm removing the sticker from the bottom of both the stand and the jar. And then, oh, by the way, if you ever have a hard time where the sticker doesn't come up all the way, I could use a heat gun. I'm not using a heat gun just because it's on glass. The safe way to do it is you just add a little bit of water with your scraper and it gets everything up. So I'm just going to scratch at that just a little bit and it's coming up real easy. And then you take a paper towel and just wipe it all up and it comes off very clean. That's another way to do it if you don't feel comfortable using a heat gun with glass. Glass is typically tempered when they're making it, so sometimes you can use a heat gun, but I err on the side of caution here in my craft room. I don't want anything cracking or breaking when my hands are near glass. Now I'm taking some E6000. I'm going to put that all around the bottom of this glass jar, or a little votive. It's not even a votive, it's like a mini hurricane, I would say. I'm going to add that all over and then add in that hot glue so it can hold it in place while the E6000 bonds glass to glass. And I'm really being generous with it because I want it to lock in, since we're going to be using a flame candle inside of this, or you can use the little votive battery lit ones if you want that too. Once it's all locked into place, I'm adding in some sand inside of it. I love using sand inside of my votive jars and candles. I think they're so pretty. I popped in a candle and it completed the look. Such an easy project. I hope you give this one a try, and you can find these two pieces at your Dollar Tree. For this project, we are using these different picks, all from the Dollar Tree. We're going to be using some of this cream white burlap, a nautical rope, some scrapbook paper, and a placemat. I am going to be using 2 different papers out of this pack. I used to get all my paper packs from Joann's, and well, you know the story about that. So you can still get paper packs online. You can also pick up scrapbook paper at the Dollar Tree. They do have it there too. Or you can order it online. There's a lot of places online. I like to shop at scrapbook.com and a cherry on top. And then if I do want to get it in person, then I also go to Michael's. I'm taking the placemat. I fold it in half. And because it's a placemat, it's a little bit on the meshy side. That hot glue is wanting to seep through. I just grabbed this plate that I used to paint on a lot and I smushed it all down into place. I made 2 vertical lines, and now I'm going to cut it because I'm making it into a pocket or like a little mini basket. I had this idea, how cute would it be to create a little door hanger. You can hang this wherever you want in your house, but I like to create door hangers, especially like on our guest bathroom on the main floor of our house. I like to create these and I like to hang it on the door just because it's another fun place to decorate and it's super cute for seasonal decor. I cut down the sides where the hot glue was and I left the top open so I can tuck some of these very summery florals inside of the pocket. Now I want to dress up that placemat a little bit more than just leaving it the teal color. I just don't think it's that attractive with it being that bold of a color. So I'm going to bring in the color around the rim and add on this white burlap, and you'll see we're going to keep adding and layering. I like color, friends. We've talked about this here a lot. I like color. In my home, I use cream, white, and black for my walls, for my knobs and things like that. But I do that on purpose because I want to change out the colors for different seasons and holidays in my home. So I can go real red, white, and blue for the summer, 4th of July, Memorial Day. I can go orange and teal and yellow for the summertime. Whatever colors I want to go real green and red for Christmas. Whatever it is, I love to do that, switching out the decor with the colors. And I keep my walls and everything else basic neutral colors, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm now taking that burlap. I cut it down to size. I'm pushing it down in place, and here's that plate trick again. Just put the plate on it. It'll keep the glue from getting all over your hands. Once it was dry, I'm going to go back to a piece of scrapbook paper. I'm going to cut out this tag. I thought this was so cute. Salty hair, don't care. I was born and raised in California, so salty hair is a thing when you go to the beach a lot. But I know a lot of the people like to go to the lakes and the river and whatever it is. This tag made me feel like, oh, summer's just around the corner. I'm going to the pool with the chlorine. Like, I don't know. Friends, I love the water. I love being in water during the summertime. So it gave me all this vibes while I was making this. I also added this piece of coral paper I ripped around the sides, crinkled the other sides of the tag, and I'm gluing them all into place. At this point, I now want to bring in those florals. I'm going to take a piece of foam and I want to secure them all together so they have a nice hold down inside the pocket of this little hanger. I'm just picking up the ones that I want, pushing them into the foam, and getting a nice arrangement of all this different texture. So pretty for the summer season. Play with whatever colors you want. It's up to you when it comes to these kind of projects. I always like to just show what the potential is of different florals coming together and how pretty they can look, but I like for you all to be creative in your own spaces. It is not my place to tell you how to decorate your house. That's up to you. You use what colors you want, and sometimes it's just about taking the idea and making it into something that works for your home. Now you can see I added glue to the back of the foam. I stuck it down in there, and now we're going to use that nautical rope to create the handle for this little pocket. I'm tucking that rope down in there. I'm going to add in a bunch of glue to glue it all into place, and you have the cutest door hanger, or you can hang it on a hook, wherever you want to put this. So cute to hang up in your home, and I highly recommend it for a fun, fast project. Whether or not you are hosting a bunch of parties the summer season, I found these plates and I think they would turn into the most beautiful, easy to make tiered tray. All we're going to do is take these plates and this candle stem holder, remove all of the stickers and glue them together. Now, I like to make charcuterie boards for my family. I do them a lot on Sunday after church when we come home and everyone's kind of hungry. I love putting together these kind of trays, tiered trays, because then everybody can pick at it while I'm working on dinner. And then it makes me not feel stressed out while I'm getting things ready for dinner. Because, you know, everyone comes home from church hungry and they want to snack and eat things. So I love this tray idea with the purpose of putting together some treats or just like a snacking type board that's easy for your family to access, or like I said, if you're throwing parties. I always recommend removing all of your stickers and all of your tags whenever you're working on projects, just because it allows things to bond better, metal to plastic. Instead of leaving that sticker there, the sticker can lift and then it'll have the whole thing fall apart on you. So I'm using a nice amount of this E6000 and I'm coming back in with hot glue to reinforce it while the E6000 locks the plastic to metal into place. And then you're just going to make sure you're putting it on as centered as possible in the tray, so that way it is nice and even and level when you go to use it. Fill it up with whatever treats you want. I filled it up with little muffins, some lemon pastry cake, some donuts, some strawberries, and some grapes. And my family devours these things so quick because they're nice. It's nice to do it for your family and treat your people you love. These are the supplies we're going to be using for our craft. Some fabric, these branches that I cut apart from one big branch that fell off of my tree, and then some twine. Go ahead and take your drill, and you're going to use your sticks on something that's raised up so you don't accidentally drill through your table. But I'm drilling about halfway into this stick, and then I'm going to add some glue, and then I'm going to take a skewer stick, but we're going to use those ones because they're a little bit thicker than the traditional shish kebab sticks. And then you're just going to glue them right down, cut them down to the size that you want, so that way they are nice and secure in your sticks that came from your tree. Then I laid down my little boat frame at this point onto a piece of fabric to help me get the right size that I need for my triangles. And I'm going to cut out a whole bunch of different triangles in 3 different fabrics because I think it's so cute to mix up the fabrics. So I'm doing a denim, a white burlap, and then a gray and white buffalo check. You can use whatever supplies or fabrics that you would want to at this point. I think these are so cute because you can really customize them. I know that there are a lot of decor stores that are selling these, and they are selling them for like 20 bucks for a little boat. I know that the dollar spot at Target had these, and I think they were about 3 bucks per boat, and that is even crazy expensive. This is basically costing me pennies to make this thing, and you can just make so many of them and give them away as gifts. I just think they're so darling. So here I am, I added a bead of glue, and then I'm just going to tap that right down onto the stick. And then to help secure the flags so they're not just kind of flopping around, I'm going to take some twine, tie a little knot at the end so it looks like it's nice and tied onto a regular boat flag or sail. And then you're just going to glue that all into place. At the top of this boat, I decided to take this cute little topper that I found, and I'm just going to glue that right to the top. But like I said, you don't have to do that. You can decorate them however you want. Then at the very end, I'm going to pull those nice cute sails out and glue them to the base of my boat, and you are ready to decorate your house with them. This one is more advanced, but I want to promise you all it's worth the work, and it is so fun to build this one. I really enjoyed it quite a bit, and I wanted to share this one as well because sometimes I like showing really easy ones here on my channel, and sometimes I like showing more intense things. So what we're doing is we're taking some 8x10 frames. We need 4 of them, and we're going to be using more of those painter sticks because y'all know that I really love those painter sticks. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting out the frame first with my X-Acto knife, all the canvas that's on it, and I'm pulling off that extra so that I can keep those canvas pieces later and use them for other DIYs on another day. Now once I've got them all cleared and the staples are all removed, I'm going to measure these long painter sticks again, and you can see here that I'm cutting them down with my miter box again, and I'm going to make sure the size is right. And once I've got the size right, I'm going to make sure I cut the rest of them to go along the bottom. Now you can see here that we don't want to see this part that has the staple holes. We want it to be nice and finished on the top, so I'm going to go ahead and add some wood glue and hot glue so it's that long-term, short-term seal, so it lets it stay on there until everything's completely dry. Then on that, once I've got the 2 frames together, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to create a little bit of a shiplap look by spacing them out and stapling those down onto the bottom of this little box that we're creating. Now this is the coolest thing because so far this is super affordable and just so cute already. Now we're going to take one of those long painter sticks. We're not going to cut this one. We're going to do it right here on the side of this box. We're going to drill 2 holes. And once you've got your 2 holes drilled all the way through, you're then going to add some screws because this is going to become a tiered tray, which is going to be so cute. These are super expensive, and I want you all to see that with some Dollar Tree products and some painter sticks, you can make the coolest things. So once you've got that first screw in, make sure you shift it around so it's nice and straight. My drill died at this point, so I had to switch over to a regular screwdriver. And you can see here, once the 2 screws are in, it's really sturdy, and I put one on each side. Now here is another one of those boxes. I've built 2 of them. Sometimes the boxes can be a little uneven because the frames can be a little wonky. They're at the Dollar Tree for a reason. Sometimes they can be a little uneven in their sizing. So I just took a little popsicle stick, cut it down to size, and put it on that part that you saw me showing there. And then what I'm doing is now I'm just making sure the measurement is right before I drill my next set of holes to add on the second tier to this little tray that I'm building. I just think that this would be so cute displayed on a table, or you can also use it during parties and put food on them. I love these so much, and they're super cheap to make. So now, to make sure we really secure everything, I'm just going to add a couple staples on the frames that we glued together. You don't have to do this, but I wanted to make it really strong and sturdy, and I have a staple gun, so I went ahead and did it. Now I'm going to take my plunger stick. Yes, I said plunger. Dollar Tree sells plungers, and they have wood dowels. So I took off the plunger part, and I took the dowel, cut it down to size with my miter box again, and I'm drilling holes so that I can add in some screws so we can have a handle at the top of our tiered tray. So go ahead and start that first screw in your painter stick. I always like to drill to make sure that it doesn't splinter anything. And then once you've got it in place, go ahead and drill everything together. Now this dowel is going to want to turn and rotate on you, so just make sure you hold onto it as tight as you can as you start to screw together. Now at this point, you can paint it whatever color you want. First I started painting it white, and I always paint everything white, and then I thought, well, hold on, maybe I'll give it some blue, because Coastal Farmhouse has been on my mind a lot since I want summer to be here so bad, and I want to get outside so bad. So I'm going to go with a really pretty icy blue, and then I'm going to distress with a darker blue, like almost a teal, and some brown to give it that weathered beach look. So I'm just going around all of the handles and the outsides of the boxes, and I decided not to paint the shiplap painter sticks that you see on the inside of my tiered tray boxes. I decided I wanted to give it a wood look, so it had more of a beachy feel. So once I had on that first coat of blue, I'm going back in with a darker blue, and I'm just dry brushing on some darker blue to make sure I give it a really pretty textured look with those different blues, almost as if it has sunned out for a while and it's faded over time. Now I'm going to take that same mixture from earlier, and I'm going to again use water, brown paint, and a little bit of black, and then I'm even going to have a little bit of brown paint here because I want to keep adding it in while I'm also adding in that watery mixture, and it just makes it look so beautiful. Once I've gotten all over that first top tiered piece, I'm going to go ahead and move down to the bottom. Now you do want to make sure to not make it too watery because that can start dripping all over the place. So just take your time and let it absorb. I went over each piece probably about 2 times to make sure the paint really absorbed in. The more you keep playing with it and adding in the brown and the black with the water, it really does make it look like that beautiful beach driftwood. So once you've got that all painted and it starts to dry, you then can go back over with some brown paint. This is when I'm really starting to distress things, and you can see those colors really starting to come to life. And then where the screws are, I wanted to make them look a little rusty, so I added a little bit of brown paint. And then you don't have to do this part, but I thought it would be really cool to add on some numbers on my tiered tray. So I'm going to do a 1 and a 2, and you technically could put whatever you want on these or not paint them at all, but I sketched on my number first, and now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to hand paint on my numbers with some white paint and a fine tip brush once again. And just take your time, because whenever you are painting through these wood slats, it's easy to kind of it gets a little tricky right around where those seams kind of meet up, and you want to take your time right on that spot. So once you've got that all done and the white paint is dried, you then can go back in and sand it to rough it up. So again, it looks like it's just been you know, out in the sun and been used for many years, which I love that look. And then you're going to distress it a little bit more with some brown paint, and you can style it however you would like for many seasons to come. Our supplies from the Dollar Tree are going to be these wood rounds, some popsicle sticks that are more like tongue depressors, and wood skewers. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these sticks, these tongue depressor sticks, and we are going to cut down one of the sides so that they're flat. So you can see how I'm putting them up to each other, because we're going to be creating one big piece of wood that we can cut into a shape. And we're going to be doing, as you saw, some cute little birds. And I want you to think almost like a crane type bird, where they have a long beak and they can peek their little nose down into, or their beak down into the sand and get the little clams or the crabs out of the sand. I just think that this is so cute, these little bird bodies. So I went one direction and now I'm going to go the other direction. Now, another thing I wanted to share was that so many of us have Disney Plus, and I don't know if you have seen the short video that Disney Plus came out with called Piper. Go and watch it. It is the cutest, funniest little Disney short about a little bird who's trying to figure out how to pick out those little clams from the sand. My family and I laugh every time we watch it. It's so cute. If you have Disney Plus, go look it up. So as you can see here, I went one direction and then I went the other direction. And on this side that I'm sketching on, you can see that I kind of shifted the pieces of wood around because I wanted to give it that shiplap look. And it also just helped it to be stronger, so that when I went to cut it, which we're going to do in a second after I'm done sketching, it would stay nice and strong and secure. So here I am, I'm just sketching on a couple little bird bodies, a mama bird and a baby bird. And maybe I have this whole maternal mama bird, baby bird thing in my head because I'm thinking of that Disney short where I just thought those little birds were so cute. And that little bird, when he just gets creamed by the wave, it's just the funniest little video. So here I am, I'm cutting out my little bird body. Now I will recommend that these are pretty easy to cut through. Use a pair of scissors that you're not afraid to dull, because when you do cut popsicle sticks or wood width scissors, it can dull them. Definitely do not use your fabric scissors on this project if you have a pair of fabric scissors that you use to sew with. But go ahead and cut them out and take your time going around. And if you see that you're getting stuck on some spots, you can see that I'm kind of breaking it away, and then I just keep cutting and just keep cutting until I get all the way around to create the shape of the bird body. Now, how cool could these be for any theme, any season, to be able to have this big piece of wood like this that cuts easy with a pair of scissors? You could do so much with this idea, and this came to me in a dream. Yes, it did, friends. Once again, I'm dreaming about crafts. Now that we've got the bird body shapes all cut out, we're going to take those wood rounds and we're going to drill down into the wood round just a little bit. Don't go all the way through. We want to have a base inside so that we can put our skewer sticks down inside. Now I created one longer than the other when I cut them down because, like I said, we're doing that mama bird, baby bird thing, like that maternal instinct. I don't know. Again, I just feel like mama bird and baby bird is the way to go for this craft project, friends. So here I am on the back side. I'm taking some of those popsicle sticks or tongue depressor sticks, and I'm cutting them down to create a bordered edge to secure the stick to the back of the bird. So I kind of created a little channel for it to sit down in there, and then I'm taking a stick and putting it right on top and just making sure that it's glued on there really nicely and looks nice and polished on the back side. So here's what it looks like when it's standing up, and either side that you look at it, it's going to be really beautiful and pretty. Now what we're going to do is we are going to take some water, some brown paint, and a little bit of black paint, and we're going to mix them all together to create a really fast, easy stain. I love doing this because it washes off your hands and it's not oil based like regular stains can be. Plus, I already have brown paint black paint and water in my house, and I don't have to go out trying to find an expensive stain. This cost me pennies to do. Now we're going to take the pointy part of the skewer stick and we're going to glue that right on to the little bird's head, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take those popsicle sticks or tongue depressor sticks. I keep feeling like I need to say that, but it's the thicker one. And we're going to just make sure we have that exact same support system so that they don't break or have any issues. So go ahead and glue all that down. And then once you're done, you can go ahead and start painting your little birds. I went with a blue color for the mama bird and then a really pretty gray color for the baby bird. So I went on the back and the front, making sure I covered it all up. I ended up painting the beak a yellow color, and then I also added in some white to make it look very beachy and just really made it look nice and pretty with a little pop of color. And then now I'm going to take some of this greenery from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to glue it around the base. And then I'm going to take some rope or some twine, whichever you have, and I'm going to just wrap it around the bottom of it to create that really pretty tall grass look that you would see at the ocean. And then on the bottom, to finish off the look, I'm going to take a piece of felt. I traced it, cut it down to size, and now I'm just going to glue that right onto the bottom so wherever it sits in my house it doesn't scratch anything and it just looks really pretty and polished. Summer is on my thoughts, and I hope it is for you too. I know some of you are still having some iffy weather. We are actually in our rain season right now here in Missouri. Lots of tornadoes go on around this time, but thankfully we're in a safe hilly area. But for everyone else, be safe out there. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you liked this summer decor, I'm going to link these other summer decor videos right here so you can check them out, just because it's fun to think about summer. It's just around the corner. Thanks so much for being here, and until the next episode, bye friends.